Okay, this is Deadbug, and this week I'm going to do a bit of a slideshow for everybody that I hope you're going to enjoy. Okay, this is me here when I was a kid. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Handsome. Well, believe it or not, that smile masks a lot of inner turmoil and pain. I had an eating disorder. Basically, whenever we went to a restaurant, I ate what everybody ordered. Literally, I once almost bit off my Uncle George's fucking thumb when we were at a Chinese restaurant and I went to eat one of his chicken balls. This is my best friend at the time. His name was Donnie Brown. Yeah, he had what it took to be a legend. And he were a bit of a ladies' man. He could whip the girls up emotionally with his devil-may-care attitude and back-combed hair. He wasn't much of a talker, but with his sullen angst, he could really convey his messages that he needed to convey. It were rumored that he'd lost his virginity when he were only 11 to this retarded girl named Susie Scarborough. A rumor he would never confirm or deny. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. She didn't look retarded, but she were in a special class where they didn't sit at desks, they sat at couches and stuff. You get the idea. She was fully functional and he weren't committing any criminal behavior. It was Friday night, and Donnie had stolen a few beers off of his old man, and I'd been given a joint by my Uncle George, so we drank and smoked in the park before heading to the mall to meet up with the rest of the gang. Donnie had high hopes that he were gonna score with a girl that he liked named Darlene. He had the hots for her, 'cause she had big tits. But when we got there, she ignored him. She didn't know he was fucking alive. So guess Donnie wanted to show himself as to be cool, so he picked up a shopping cart and he threw it through the front window of the plaza. And everyone started running like fleas on a burning kitten. As we were making our escape, the cops caught up with us. Yeah, sure, we tried to tell them we didn't do it, but they arrested us, along with a few other people who were fleeing the scene. In court, the judge gave us something called an anti-social order, because we'd been in trouble before and hadn't been attending school with any regularity. We were told we had to take a court-appointed job, or be locked up in a juvenile detention center for 3 months. Yeah, so we took the job. How hard could it be? So a bus would pick us up every weekday, 7 to 3, we'd sign on with our probation officer. On the first day, as we approached the factory, I saw coming over the hill 3 red letters. I wasn't sure what it said exactly. Fag. Fag. I got fear in my heart. I asked the driver if that's where we were going. He said yeah, fag. Then I asked him if it was short for anything. And he said no, just fag. Donnie and I looked at each other with terror in our eyes. Donnie said to me, maybe it won't be so bad. As long as we keep this between you and me, we don't tell a soul. Our friendship, the bond, will protect us. It can't get worse, can it?
Attention fags. Attention all new fags. Please go to the canteen and collect your fag overalls. You must not be on the warp floor without your fag overalls. This is a reminder to all new fags. Please do not enter through the front door. All fags are required to enter through the rear. I repeat, all fags are required to enter in the rear.
What the fuck are fag overalls? What sort of fucking world is this? We gotta get out of here, man. We gotta fucking leave this place. As we frantically looked for an exit, we heard a voice call out, "Hey, you fags." When we looked up, we saw Dave Dobson, a pisshead who used to go to our school. 17 years old and a full beard. He were a Neanderthal who got kicked out for picking on the younger kids. We ignored him and kept looking for a door out. When we spotted a fire exit, we told our probation officer we had to use the washroom. Then we went out the back, climbed the fence, and left fag forever. But unfortunately, the judge wasn't too compassionate when we told him the reason why we needed to leave our court-appointed job, and he sent us straight to juvie for a 3-month stretch. When Donnie and I got out of juvie, we didn't talk too much. We kind of went our separate ways. I went back to school. He got a job at Burger King. But he called me one night. Hello? It sounded like he'd kind of been crying. And he told me that his girlfriend had been killed. I were in shock. Who the hell would kill Susie the retard Scarborough? She couldn't count to 10 with her socks off, much less incur someone's wrath. Donnie said no, they were Darlene. Darlene Prioriello, the girl from the mall. And he told me that her body was found at Fag, the place that we'd worked at for like about 40 minutes. She had left Donnie's place at about 10:30. She had a curfew for 11. He wanted to walk her, but she said it were okay. She'd gone to Burger King to catch a bus. And that was the last time she was seen again. Donnie had told me that he loved her and that he lost his virginity to her. And that he never had sex with Susie the retard, that he just made that up. Which for me, if I were telling lies, I would have aimed a little higher than Susie Scarborough. But anyways, he told me this, and he started crying, and I didn't know what to say. So I told him I thought it were best that he didn't have sex with Susie, cause her being retarded and her brother were full retard, and that they probably had a retard gene, and if they had kids. And then he just cut me off, told me to shut the fuck up. So I didn't know what else to say, so I tried to make small talk and told him I had some extra tickets for the Leafs game and asked if he wanted to come. He said no and hung up. As news of Darlene's murder spread, everyone were talking about it. The general consensus were that Donnie had done it. Anyone who had the capabilities of throwing a shopping cart through the bowling alley window had the capabilities to kill. Since Donnie didn't go to school now and were working at Burger King's business must have increased about 100%, because everyone were hanging out of there, trying to see a sign if they could catch what a murderer looked like. A couple of days after Darlene's murder, a package was dropped into the book return slot at the local library near our school. They were addressed to the police, and it contained Darlene's necklace that she was wearing when she disappeared, and a letter that had the horrific account of a 15-year-old's last hour on this earth. She'd been picked up hitchhiking near Burger King, where she was then driven behind a factory, then beaten, tortured, raped, sodomized, and murdered. The killer, among other acts of cruelty, stuck industrial-sized nails through her body, used her own lighter to set her pussy hair on fire, pierced her nipples with a safety pin she'd had in her pocket, then dropped an industrial-sized cinder block on her face and pissed on her as she prayed, and he left her to slip into the abyss. And at the end of the letter, he taunted the police and said he was now gonna kill at the same time every year, and taunted them to try and catch him. At the next day of school, everybody was talking about the letter, wondering if Donnie had been the one to send it. But I knew Donnie didn't send that letter, because he signed every letter he wrote with "fuck the police," and there was no such signature on that letter. And I could tell from when he called me that night that he were in love with her. While everyone was talking about Donnie, the forensics were cutting up Darlene, looking for answers. I guess they figured the more they cut, the more answers they may find. But they were finding nothing. They were an egghead detective who had read about a technique that scientists had been working on, where the body was taken out of the freezer and left to thaw, then covered with a black powder, and a high-speed camera were used to find fingerprints. It was the first time that it was used in a murder investigation, and it worked. They found 2 fingerprints on the inside of Darlene's thighs, where her legs had been forced apart, and the fingerprints weren't Donnie's. It were about a week after Darlene's murder that my friend Dean and I were walking to school, and we were passing Dave Dobson's house. Yeah, the same creep that me and Donnie saw in the fag factory that day, and who were a bully at school. And his house was surrounded by police. We were to find out the next day when it were over on the front page of the paper that he'd been arrested for murdering Darlene.
Peel Police now have a suspect in custody charged with the first-degree murder of 16-year-old Darlene Prioriello. 17-year-old David James Dobson will appear in provincial court in Brampton tomorrow. An autopsy revealed the victim died of a fractured skull and asphyxiation after she was sexually assaulted. She was found last Friday behind a factory in Mississauga.
Oh, Dirty Dave, the school creep and bully. Seems that he'd also been out that Friday night at Dixie Bowl-O-Rama, the night that Donnie had thrown the shopping cart through the window. And they caught him and took his fingerprints, as well as getting him a job at Fag. And it were those very same fingerprints that they matched to the ones found on Darlene's thighs. So ultimately, it was Donnie Brown who caught his girlfriend's murderer. I never talked to Donnie again. He drifted out of my life, like a lot of people do from our teens. So I never got to find out how he felt about what had happened. Sure, I'd heard rumors that he'd become a manager at the local Bowl-O-Rama. Yeah, the same one that he'd thrown the shopping cart through the front window. And that he'd even eventually bought the place and turned it into a shrine for Darlene, which seems kinda crazy. But it isn't, if you can remember this is the guy who spread rumors that he'd had sex with a retarded girl. And Dobson, that piece of fucking garbage. All counts and purposes, well, he enjoyed prison life and started getting stinky finger with a whole bunch of the other prisoners and became quite popular. I guess working at Fag was a good fit for him.
So hold me tight, don't let me go. Lost to the night, we let our feelings show. 'Cause the cold weight of darkness is holding me down. So strange to feel lonely with you all around. This heart gets heavy, but I'm holding on. Patience gets wasted on something or someone. 'Cause I've been here waiting alone so long. Been aching for saving by something or someone. Yeah, I'm quietly sinking, got nothing to breathe. Under the weight of you, I'll sink beneath. So willing but unable, so I'll just hold on. Been aching for saving by something or someone. So hold me tight, don't let me go. Lost to the night, we let our feelings go.
That bug says no more.